Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 3 and the High Queen Khalida campaign. I've rolled a turn or two since the last recording to finish up the recruitment on Khalida, who is now sieging the Lost Plateau, and to strengthen our defensive armies. Luckily, Krotkar has not been as aggressive as I was expecting. He is held in Rosetta, and that has given me time. Time to build up and prepare. Akash now has a 20 stack. Petchwheat is doing the same thing. The orcs that we are allied with are sort of moving up and down this mountain range. They look like they might go and have another go at Karag Arud, and honestly right now I wouldn't mind that. It would help us take out the dwarves. And that is our next objective. Now, thinking big picture for a little while. This dwarven territory here borders the lizards, so we might end up going down into the lizardmen territory from the rear with Khalida. But that's for another episode. That's sort of like a teaser for if they don't push our flank over here too heavily. We're not building up these cities because we're expecting that Krotkar at some point, and I thought we'd kick off this episode by taking the 7th book of Nagash off of the dwarves. Now, we don't have to play this one. It's a pretty easy victory, but because it's one of our objectives, because it's one of the books of Nagash, we're going to fight it, even if it's going to be a relatively straightforward affair. The terrain looks pretty simplistic. Some larger rocks on the side of the defender, but really, it's just a hill. And we can get around that, I am sure. It looks like the garrison is coming in later. So that's going to give us a chance to get our scorpions up front. Put our stalkers on the flank. We've got our catapults set up here. We'll put them just slightly down here to increase their range. We'll get the infantry that we have up the front. The Necropolis Knights we'll have guarding this flank, because when we push forward, the rocks will effectively create a flank for the Ushabti to guard. And we will put our heroes and our archers just behind the infantry line, with the chariot slightly further to the front, because we are relying on the chariot to get to and support the scorpions. Our Lich Priest does now have a steed, which means hopefully I won't be losing him as much as I have been. And you can see that because we're fighting the dwarves, the winds of magic are blocked, so we have limited winds of magic healing, something that has been troubling us greatly in every battle with the dwarves. Alright, let's get this show on the road. We are going to push our sepulchral stalkers up to the flank, and we are going to get our tomb scorpions in there as fast as possible, while the rest of the army pushes up in formation to engage. No real need to move the catapults up. Alright, let's get some nice shots over here. Oh, those catapults, look at that. I swear those catapult shots are doing more damage to our troops than the enemies. Oh, look at that. Giblets going everywhere. Lovely. You can see the rest of the advance happening here. The reinforcements, of course, have arrived. It was a city garrison. I'm going to see if we can get a nice legions of Asaph through the middle of them here. Yeah, that was all right, wasn't it? And I'm going to get the Necropolis Knights in with the Tomb Scorpions now. Oh, flip, our archers are getting a bit pushed up. We're going to pull them back slightly. This army here has lasted a bit longer than I expected. Is this our Necrotech? Okay, let's get him off of the front lines real quick, because we don't want him dying. And I am going to quickly just push our catapults up a little bit, because... Oh, I didn't mean to reveal them yet. We'll leave the Necropolis Knights and a Scorpion in there. We'll get our Necrotech to heal up the Scorpion over here. We're taking some pretty big losses, but I'm just going to advance the infantry up the hill now. Move some of the archers up onto the flanks to get some flanking shots. And we're going to charge the Ushabti and get the Sepulchral Stalkers to rejoin the fight over here. Khalida isn't doing anything, and I think that's a crying shame, so let's get her in there and move the Spearmen off of the Lord. Because they're not going to win, but Khalida will win that fight. We're going to need to do something about the legions of Quarrelers here. I do like how the Quarrelers look for Forex Expedition. Oh, crap. That's probably the best angle I can get. The hills fuck with the camera so much sometimes. Yeah, it's nice. That's going to reduce some of their overall firepower, help us keep what we've got in the grounds nice and healthy. And I'm actually just going to switch these off. We're going to get the Lich Priest to come up, because he hasn't been casting anything, and I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, this might hurt some of our own troops, but I want to see what the Skull Storm looks like. I've not seen it as a spell yet. Okay, nice. Not sure how much damage that's doing, but... I mean, given that it's only our Scorpions and Necropolis Knights, some very tanky units in there, I dare say that that probably did a pretty solid amount of damage for us. I don't want to lose these Sepulchral Stalkers. Can they be healed by this? They can.
I have no rival.
Get some army-wide healing there. And end. Hopefully they didn't crumble. Oh! Please tell me the Sepulchral Stalkers did not crumble. They didn't. Okay. Whew. You can tell I'm stressed about that one. I just instantly ended the battle, but it was a settlement siege. I could have played that out a bit more smoothly, I think, but whatever. We still rolled them. They still died. And that is all that matters. Alright, we are going to occupy the Lost Plateau. We have executed captives multiple times. Very nice. And now that we've taken this, we have gotten the 7th Book of Nagash, which is 10% research rate and Canopic Jars 10 per turn. Interesting. Well, that's not a huge buff, but it's something. You know, it'll help. We now have to try and get ourselves to Karak Zorn, which is going to take us, it looks like a turn, which is nice. I thought it would take us a bit longer than that. And yeah, we're going to have to see what Kroq-Gar decides to do. Okay, looks like Kroq-Gar has decided to take Granite Massif from us, which we will allow, because it buys us some more time. So, between turns, Kroq-Gar decided he was going to take Granite Massif, and I'm okay with that because it buys us some extra recruitment time in this army here at the Devil's Backbone. Whether or not it'll be successful, I don't know. But because of that, he is now not in range to intercept if Rakash moves up to Doom Glade. The reason we want him in Doom Glade now is that there are walls there, and a 20 stack of walls is better than a 20 stack without walls. Taking a quick look at our tab here, we can see that we can get ourselves the Tomb City, which will help upgrade our settlement towards bigger and better buildings, but I'm wondering if we want to do that, or if we want to pick up the Casket of Souls. I think for now, because we're under assault, I'm actually going to take the city upgrade. I don't think I'm in a position where I can realistically ignore this. I need to have as much in place against Krotkar as possible. Karak Zorn is now under siege. It says it will be a valiant defeat, presumably because of the strength of their fortifications. I'll be honest, I don't really believe that for a second, so we're going to go right in. So as you can see, we've lined up our forces in such a way that we'll be able to very quickly get out of the angle of fire of the fort tower here. We're doing our best to stack up and mitigate the enemy defenses. It'll be a hard-fought battle to get inside the walls, but I would rather take less turret fire on the way in, so we're going to go with the standard one approach and try and bust our way in there. Alright, let's get this show on the road. The Tomb Scorpions are going to attack the Great Gate. The infantry are going to move up, and the archers themselves behind them to start shelling the walls. Our monstrous stuff is going to march up as well, along with this, and we are going to get the Screaming Skull catapults to target down the fort tower on the low ground here, just in case it shoots more than I was expecting. But it hasn't been garrisoned yet, none of the towers have, which was awfully convenient of the dwarves, really, as far as I'm concerned. Let's get the Necrotect up with the Scorpions. Let's get Queen Khalida there. This does next to no damage by the look of it, but I would still rather take this out. Now, looking at the enemy defenses, there are some Quarrelers. They're beginning to take the walls. I'm going to use a Legion of Asaph here that goes through these grumbling Dwarf Warriors with great weapons and through the Quarrelers, just to do as much damage to the enemy range as possible, because that's one of the most threatening things to our army. Now, we're going to get the infantry to go in over the walls. The reason we're doing that is we don't want the giant clump that we had in the earlier episodes. The gates are open. We're going to get the Tomb Scorpions and Khalida in. I'm less worried about Khalida now because she actually has backup when she goes in. She's got Scorpions, she's got the Necrotech, she's got Necropolis Knights. You know, all of these things are very helpful when storming a city. Even the Sepulchral Stalkers that we can get in will be of big assistance here. Gonna get the archers to walk up. The catapults can keep shooting at whatever for now, to be honest. I'm not too fussed about whether or not they're actually providing a lot of value, because the enemy army is pretty split up, and I can live with that. Alright, how are things going inside the gates? It looks like the Necropolis Knights are in the worst position. Or is that the Tomb Scorpions? It's the Scorpions, okay. Oh no, it's the Necrotect. Right, well let's not continue our hero losing streak in this campaign, yeah? Let's get him out of there. We're going to target the next Legions of Asaph along the ranged, as with the first one. And we are going to put the incantation of Blades down. We're going to get our infantry now to come down off of the wall into the fortress. itself. Hopefully the wall AI doesn't bug out too much. And we're going to get Khalida to go for Logan Grouch. That's her name. Let's give Neru's incantation of protection to the Necrotect, who I think is still getting shot at. Again, it's army-wide healing, right? So, like, there's no reason not to cast it in a lot of ways. I'm going to get a Tomb Scorpion right now just to rush forwards. In fact, probably get two of them to rush forwards. Why can't I do anything with this one? Is he stuck? Has he bugged? Yeah, for whatever reason, he's actually bugged. Okay. We are down a Tomb Scorpion. Was not anticipating that. Looks like the fight is going relatively well, though, and because of that, we're going to get the Necropolis Knights to plow down the hill with the extra Tomb Scorpion instead. Now, as far as the archers are concerned, let's cease them firing, because they're doing a lot of friendly fire, I think, right now, and get them up onto the walls here. Let's get the melee Ushparti in as well. Love the Necropolis Knights. Look at that. Have to be a little bit careful here because there is a Slayer unit, but because this is a nice blob, I'm going to get the Restore onto the Necropolis Knights and Legions of Asaph in there as well. Let's get the Tomb Scorpion back in and charge the Sepulchral Stalkers. Giant Slayers are pretty scary for a lot of the big heavy hitters in my army, unfortunately. But I think just by overwhelming them with constructs, even though we'll take some casualties, I don't see a better way of getting rid of them outside of shooting them, and our archers are not currently in range. Let's get Khalida down the hill to help out. She can shrapnel them from range. But I think actually we'll wait for her to get in there first. It's interesting that we have a Tomb Scorpion bug. I've never seen that before. Alright, let's get Neru's Incantation of Protection down. And an Incantation of Blades. I do not want to lose these gold tier Necropolis Knights, but I may do so. Because, well, it looks like that might happen. The healing did come through pretty big, though. Khalida is being swamped, so let's pop her damage resistance. Let's get the Helm of Discord down. Let's shrapnel these melee range slayers. And it looks like we might just have saved the Necropolis Knights. The Giant Slayers have surrounded Khalida, and I'm a little bit worried about her health, but I think with the help of the whole army coming down the hill, she should be able to dispose of those Slayers pretty easily. I mean, I'm not sure what that Tomb Scorpion is doing, but you know what? We'll run with it. And we'll get another Restore down, this time onto the Necropolis Knights once more, because we don't want them to disappear. Once the Giant Slayers go down, I reckon we'll have a pretty solid army rout.
Hi, Queen Khalida.
And if we don't, it's just because those units of Dwarf Warriors haven't seen fit to flee yet. So let's get the archers pushing up the rear here. Once the Giant Slayers are down, everything is done for them. And they are dying. In fact, I'm struggling to find any Oh, there's a couple of Mohawks. They're getting absolutely jibbed, and in fact, they've only got 3 units left. At this point, what's the StarCraft term? We can just 1A over them. And we have taken Karak Zorn, leaving the brave dwarves of, well, the foolish dwarves of Varda Ironbrow's expedition in shambles. Okay, we're gonna occupy.
Now liberate us.
We have now taken this
The
province.
goddess wills it.
Sadly at tier 2, but taking this province does allow us to boot out these normal spearmen and say hello to a couple more Tomb Guard. It also allows us to take a look at our armies over here, and instead of recruiting this very basic stuff, we can start getting a couple of other units into these armies. Whether or not that'll pay off, because global recruitment will take a while, I don't know. But we'll see. Findle is riding up here, but I don't think we have a quarrel with Findle. So, in order to take out Thoric Ironbrow's expedition, Karag O'Rud is our next target.
Fully
And
balanced.
it just so happens that Krogar is there as well. We're going to put another point in Stone Sentinels to buff up our Tomb Scorpions. We're not going to upgrade Marak because I have a feeling that's going to get hit next. And we are going to get the Worship of Asaph to get some provincial control here, because we don't want to be here for all too long. We will position an army here in due course, but this isn't a border I am too worried about right now. I mean, I'm worried about Manfred, but we do have our friends under Cetra the Imperishable to the north. It looks like Marak was attacked, and I don't think there's much we can do about it.
Nehikara will be mine.
Maybe with some focus fire from the garrison archers, but we just don't have the power to take on a legendary lord and 2 heroes like that. We are going to go with Dig elsewhere, and we are going to cast the great incantation of Tahoth. Looks like Findle is riding through our province right now, which is most unusual, given that he wasn't invited. Looks like Jenna has returned and is ready for duty. So why don't we take some preemptive measures and summon Jenna in this region, where we can begin to flesh out his army with some of the best stuff that we can get right now. Oh, crap. Need to put him in the city. Cancel Rick Robot. Into the city you go. And now we can fill up his army with some good stuff. For now, that'll do. But that'll allow us to defend if the vampires or the wood elves get uppity. And I think I have to change the direction. I think I have to move Rakash towards Lamia. Lamia is very strong. It has a huge garrison. But I am not going to risk losing my capital. So, Khalida is force marching back through the mountain range, from which we have just evicted the Dwarves. We have lost some territory. It has hurt, but in a couple of turns, Khalida will be able to eradicate Thoric Ironbrow and begin pushing back the lizards. We'll have to see what they do in the next turn, but for now, I'm feeling pretty confident. I still don't want to upgrade the Doom. We are going to now put Rakash into... Oh, actually, we have lost sight of Kropgar. which means he's probably in Granite Massif. In that case, I think I'll hold us here. And I'm going to get rid of one unit of swordsmen to put the Casket of Souls into this army to buff it up a bit. Well, I guess we'll move a tiny bit just to keep an eye on it. But my feeling is that he is going to move up here to have a word with Khalida. So I'm going to sort of inch forward over here. And you can see that he has indeed taken up position in Granite Massif. In that case, I actually think... Well, this is risky, but we're going to force march Rakash up towards Rosetta, and we are going to try and pincer Kropgar. I think that's the best we can do right now.
Will be done.
Oh, sod it. I've held off upgrading this long enough. Let's get ourselves... let's get ourselves access to some more artillery, should we want it. Upgrade the provincial stability in Mount Arachnos. And we have our first look at some of the von Karstein forces. We can't see what it is, but they do have a large army in Kasabar. Alright, I guess we'll find out what Kropgar does. Hopefully he doesn't attack Khalida, because this army here, maybe Khalida can beat it, but these guys here are a massive problem. I guess we'll find out. Okay, the moment has arrived. We are going to put a little bit of pressure down here onto Rosetta without getting too close to Kropgar because we don't want to be attacked. But we are going to level up the leadership to help with the crumbling issues that we are experiencing. And we are going to attack Korek.
Vengeance upon them!
Karag Urud, occupied by Forek Ironbrow. This is not a Pyrrhic victory. This is not a medium casualties. I am going to play this, and we are going to exterminate the Dwarven leader in these mountains once and for all. Brave warriors of Lybaris, today we drive the dwarves once and for all from these mountains. There will be no mercy, there will be no quarter. The sands of time will swallow them, and their memory will be lost. For Khalida, and for Lybaris. Well, Forek appears to know how to command a defense slightly better than his previous, what do we call it, stand-in lord? But I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. The gates are open, let loose the scorpions! I love that line. I love letting loose scorpions, they're so much fun. Right, we're going to double stack here because I want to get anything and everything dangerous that we have into the city. And I want to send Khalida into a direct collision course with Thorek Ironbrow. Everyone is going in, no one will be left behind. This isn't a battle that we can afford to take big casualties in or lose. And you can see that Khalida is already in there. She's already laying waste to some of the dwarves. But she has not yet found her established target. We're going to move the damaged Tomb Scorpion back because we don't want him dying. We're going to drop a heal on him, and Khalida is going to join this fight. She's going to pop her damage resistance. She's going to pop the Helm of Discord. And she is going to land some shrapnel onto King Thorek Ironbrow. Taking stock of the rest of the battle, you can see that it is going very decisively in our favour. I am now just going to take this opportunity to drop some of the arrows of Asaph onto this unit of Quarrelers. And the opportunity to throw down Jaff's Incantation of Blades onto Khalida. Because we want her to win this duel. We can see that a lot is going on in the gateway in terms of fights that have stalled out a bit. So I'm going to start redeploying some of these units here that aren't actively engaged with the enemy into some engagements where they can start being of better use to me and the two kings. We are taking some damage on our archers here, which is perplexing me a little bit. So let's get them away from the wall. I assume they're on the wall. And that's what's been causing it. They're sort of in melee with some dwarves, right? No, that's the Nehekara warriors, okay. Let's get the Kepra Guard in there. And let's cast a couple of spells onto them real quick. Because every time we cast a spell, our army heals. And that ought to help us staunch the bleeding a little bit in this position while we get the rest of our army into the fight. Captured a victory point, that should again bolster our position. Drop another heal on the constructs. Where is he? Can he cast any spells? He can do some armor reducing. Maybe that'll count. Well, we can't really move Khalida right now. But we are getting rallied, which means that there will be no more crumbling. I'm going to drop arrows of Asaph on this unit right at the back here that's not really getting involved, just to start weakening their leadership, because we don't want them coming back. We don't want them getting involved. One unit of Tomb Guard there. And then I'm going to reorder the assault on Thorek, and I'm going to send the Necropolis Knights and Stalkers deeper in. And here we have it. Khalida is extinguishing Thorek's campaign. His expedition into these mountains is well and truly over. And as he falls from his seat, Karagorod has been claimed by the... Well, that was far from Pyrrhic, and it looks like the Ironbrow's expedition has met its end. We are going to occupy Karagorod. It has received the plague, apparently, which is frustrating because I was going to use it to replenish. I'll move us outside of the city for now. I'm not sure why we're taking attrition.
Victory!
How long until the plague? 3 enables attrition for non-chaos worshipping armies. We're gonna go into the city and just pray we don't get it, because I need the replenishment.
Other and us.
We are going to get Reanimate, which is gonna give us some more leadership. And then we are going to call this an episode. Next time, it looks like we're gonna try and take the fight to Kropgar. We have eliminated one of the threats on our borders. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time for when we remove the lizards as a threat as well.